One fentanyl, one tramadol, and one endone. One fentanyl, one tramadol, and one endone.
So, I went up to Canberra and to a fancy private hospital, and I had a surgery. Then I came home and went into crash and burn mode. I was rapidly heading toward the exit feet first. Now I know after you turn 50 you're doing this anyway, but this was moving at light speed towards my demise. It became a mad rush to the local hospital. Actually a mad fevered rush into emergency, and around midnight an emergency surgical team is pulled together and hey presto, I'm opened up with a samurai sword and they save my life. Literally, the life-saving, not the samurai sword. I am speechlessly grateful to those people. And I am proud to say that in my eyes, that surgical team at my local hospital embodies the idea of being true, trained, professional Australian heroes, as their mission was to save lives, not take lives. So, where do I build the shrine to them? But it's more than a surgical team. It's my regional local hospital that has prevented me shuffling off this mortal coil. Even after surgery, there is an arduous period of ifs and buts. I came to, and what did I see in the doorway? What looked like C-3PO, which I discovered was an OBS machine, that which allowed the nursing staff to monitor my condition, one of the many tools in the provision of quality healthcare within the hospital. For if you are a nurse, you have your charges who you want to provide the best care to, and part of that care is taking regular observations. To do that, you need an OBS machine. But what if there is a limited number on the ward? You need it, you can't do your job without it, so perhaps snaffle one and secrete it away before your shift actually starts. Or you'll just have to battle for one. Which raises in my mind the issue that no Australian should face any form of inferior healthcare. The politicians and mass media bang on about Australian values. Well, fair and equal healthcare for all should be an Australian value. You know, empathy, care, and egalitarian mateship towards all. So, in my hospital, resources should be abundant and plentiful so that everybody can get quality healthcare. But is this the case? Well, for example, the hunt for the elusive bladder scanner should not take up precious time in the course of a hospital day. With insufficient equipment and supplies, it's very hard to do your job safely or efficiently during the course of a shift. Imagine two mechanics both working on separate vehicles, but only a single wrench is available. Well, that's the bladder scanner conundrum. Instead of a weekly Easter egg hunt, the staff go in search of the elusive bladder scanner across the hospital. How to solve the problem? Easy. Have a sufficient number of the devices needed. Why should any hospital be short of funds, staffing or resources when you have senior figures, especially politicians and businessmen, incessantly braying on about Australia as proudly being a rich, wealthy, successful nation on the world stage? Well, how about chucking a little bit of that wealth in the direction of the average person's quality of life? Or more importantly, in the direction of hospitals, which are sources of welfare and well-being for the average punter? I'm thinking of sending a Dear Gina email. Net worth $29 billion. And I do love it when she tells workers they need to pull their fingers out and work harder to make Australia great, which is based on the idea of increasing productivity, which means literally working harder for less. Financial Review Rich List in 2020. Australia's 200 richest increased their collective wealth by 24%. Imagine increasing your salary by 24% in 1 year. Anyway, they increased their collective wealth by 24% to $424 billion. And we have a myriad of public hospitals that are understaffed and under-resourced in the country. So, Gina, from the amount you keep due to tax minimisation, surely you have then a little chump change. What about a couple of bladder scanners for my local hospital? And Twiggy, you're worth $23 billion. You can chip in some IV poles. And the senior figures of the corporate elite on the BCA, Business Council of Australia, can start coughing up some chump change to ensure every Australian has access to quality hospital health care. You know, fair, just, equitable share of a quality service for all Australians. No hospital in such a reputedly wealthy country should be short of staff, resources, nor witness staff engaging in a death match for access to the only thingy that every staff member needs in the hospital in order to perform their job efficiently, effectively and safely. But, let's face it, that's gone right off topic. The topic is what allows me to be able to fish. Death would certainly prevent that. And this is about that which has prevented me from shuffling off this mortal coil prematurely and thus ending my fishing adventures. That which has enabled me to be able to continue fishing in the near future. That enabler of my being and my existence, my local regional hospital. And when are people truly aware of both the inadequacies of and benefits of public health? When they're in their local hospital. In my case, trying to keep death's door closed. Our hospitals should not have to run endless fundraising events in their local communities to raise the financial wherewithal to keep themselves fully resourced. Pixies, fairies, Santa Claus, unicorns, and quality healthcare for all. So we are one of the richest countries in the world, yet where is the healthcare equity for all Australians? I mean, what do we hear endlessly repeated nearly every single day? The phrase, Australian values. And one of those values, we are told, is a national trait of being one and all an egalitarian people. That is, we are all equal. Well, that idea of being all equal is proven complete nonsense when you look at access to healthcare and education, for there is no equal access to the highest quality healthcare and education. Equity for all in healthcare is a myth. For, let's face it, we are born into the ideology that, as a people, we unquestioningly believe in a competitive market society that basically can never be fair, just and equitable. That's not the nature of the beast. It produces extreme winners and losers, which every member of the community accepts implicitly as a normal state of affairs. Australians care if they have good health care. They don't care if their fellow Australians have it. A true Aussie value is we are all in a non-egalitarian state of being. So why keep repeating Australia is egalitarian when areas such as healthcare and education prove this to be a delusional, hypocritical untruth? Oh, I get it. That's a true Aussie value.
The marketing men and real estate agents have taken over the